Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Tina Marie, and this is Hollywood Insider, and I am very, very excited about today's guest. Today's guest is Greg Gudorf, and before I explain the many different backgrounds and experiences that he's had over the last 30 years in technology, I wanted to let you guys know that while you're watching this video today, please share it to everybody online. Let them know what's going on because we're going to be talking about quality entertainment that is God filled, that is Christ centered, that is something we want in our children's minds. So please share this video. And I also want to encourage you today that you also text in and comment below our video today if you have any questions. And we will definitely do our best to answer those questions throughout the show. So without further ado, thank you, Greg, for being on the show today. Greg has is the CEO of PureFlix Digital, PureFlix Entertainment. He has over 30 years of experience in the technology and consumer electronics fields, with emphasis on convergence of cable, satellite, and internet services. He served as COO of MGO.com, a premium digital streaming service and joint venture between Technicolor and DreamWorks. This guy's been all over the place. And also CEO of Diego and also Sony Electronics, where he launched the SonyStyle.com. Now, Greg and I met briefly at the National Religious Broadcasting Conference in Orlando, Florida, 2 months ago, when I saw him doing a Pure Talk show live right there on the show floor at the convention. So, Greg, thank you so much for being with me today.
Tina, it's great to be here with you, and it was fun meeting with you in Florida. I think we were interviewing Lee and Leslie Strobel, their story, of course, being The Case for Christ, the movie from PureFlix that's out in theaters right now when you came by.
You got it. You got it. And can you talk about that briefly, since that's so fresh on our hearts and minds and many of us went out there? Like, how did you get that project? How did it get picked up?
You know, projects come to you in lots of different ways, and who knows all of the hows and whys other than that it's the Lord's way when it comes to you like that. It was a project that we connected on, PureFlix Studio side connected on a couple of years ago, and started working with the Strobels and with Brian, the writer of it, and things just came together nicely for it. It's a strong story. Of course, it's based on the book, The Case for Christ, of which, more than 10 million of those books have been sold now, so there's an audience for it. But the movie depiction of that book really came to life nicely on the big screen. And this is the third week now that it's been out in theaters nationally, doing well, touching hearts, moving people.
I absolutely love it. And I have to tell you that over the years of speaking, I've been speaking now to moms and dads and at purity conferences, music festivals, even prisons, and for 14, 15 years. And I can't tell you how many people come up to me afterwards and say, Tina, I just want to throw the TV out the window. And I can feel what they're talking about. I just had 4 kids in the last 8 years. And previous to that, I could not find quality entertainment. And then, to be honest, Greg, most of the Christian films I grew up with as a kid were absolutely cheesy. And so to go on to PureFlix, when I found out about who you were, to have something I can offer parents that I fell in love with personally myself, I was so excited. Over the last 3 weeks, we dug into The Encounter that you have, a brand new series on PureFlix. We watched the entire first season in 1 week. So are you bringing a season number 2? Parents watching, you have to check out The Encounter, that brand new series. It's phenomenal. Is season 2 coming out?
The Encounter series was our first original series on pureflix.com. 8 episodes in this first season. And as you know, and not to be a spoiler to it, but this is a scene that can happen in any day, everyday life. And someone's in there, they're having an issue, and a bystander turns out to be Jesus. And just the right word at the right time or the right thought, and it changes the whole twist of the story. And so the Encounter seeks to bring Jesus into modern day, everyday life, and it does it pretty well. The viewers on the platform have just been really thrilled with it. It's gotten great reviews, lots of viewings, and yes, there's another season in the works.
Yay!
There you go.
I saw the one we watched. We actually watch about 2 a night, but the one we watched last night to wrap up this season, you're right on. There's actually 2 of them that really stick out in my mind. One was called The Disconnect or Disconnected, and it was everybody on a tech device, and the mom's trying to cook, and everybody's just disconnected from each other.
Yep.
And I love, you could not have cast Jesus as a better character. The guy you found to play him in that movie, even his smile. I laugh every time because it's not just him addressing the issue, but it's how he addresses his tone of voice and how he handles bringing families back together. The other one that really like brought tears to my eyes and my husband's is the one where the wife wanted to be separated and get divorced from her husband because he was addicted to gambling.
Hmm.
And I could not tell you how every word she said came out of my mouth with a situation in our marriage the last 10 years, and how Luke could totally, it wasn't gambling for him, but could totally relate to the guy. And I just was tearing up thinking this series has to be in every American household. Everyone, when you're watching right now, I'm telling you, you'll be able to relate to the characters in the show, and the way that they bring God in here to address these issues is hands down the best entertainment I have ever seen. It surpasses any Hollywood set I've ever worked on. And I've worked in as a decade in Hollywood, and the quality of entertainment, keep it up, Greg. It's phenomenal.
You know, Tina Marie, you're hitting on a key point, and that is the power of media in our lives. The vision statement for PureFlix Entertainment and PureFlix.com is very simple. Our job, we see it, is to help influence culture for Christ through media. And the reason for media is because of the time we spend with media. There was a survey recently, from birth to age 17, your kids will be exposed to more than 65,000 hours of digital media. Now, put that in perspective for a minute. That's 32 times more time than they'll actually spend in school. It's 61 times more time than they'll spend with you growing up and living there. And it's 81 times more hours than they'll spend in church. Who's teaching our kids? It's media that's teaching our kids. And we've all been there, done that, been guilty of it. You turn the TV on to distract the kids and allow you to get something done. The goal from PureFlix.com's perspective is to make sure that when they turn the TV on, it's a PureFlix.com, and we're delivering the good and the powerful message. It's the good in, the good comes out. Bad in, bad out. Simple.
We are cut from the same cookie cutter, Greg. You're speaking my heart. You really are, because I believe the environment that we are in, that we absorb, and what we put in our minds does become what we believe, our worldview, everything. And look at our school systems today as well, just the things that are being taught there. To bring it back to entertainment, this is what does floor me, Greg. And I know you're well aware, and that's why you're on fire with the mission you're on with PureFlix. Some of the top shows that I dissect when I speak is The Mick, which has a 6-year-old girl or boy dressed as a girl that's talking very vulgar about girl body parts, which he doesn't have. I won't even say it. It's so vulgar I can't even share what's in the trailer. It shocked people out 2 weeks ago when I spoke in Branson at Young Christians Weekend. That parents just aren't aware of what shows their kids are actually watching. And then we've got Lucifer, just the title in itself for that series coming out, and what's currently on the show. So yes, parents, we have to be very diligent in what comes into our kids' minds. So let's look at, and the cool thing is there's thousands, what is it, 6,000, I think, options you have on PureFlix. It's not just like 5 movies.
We have 6,000 different pieces of content on the platform. We're adding more every time. Last week, we just added 113 more pieces. We intend to continue to grow that catalog to make sure there's plenty of choice for consumers.
I absolutely love what you guys do. Okay. I understand that PureFlix Entertainment is the largest inspirational film studio in the world. Why do you see a need to create PureFlix, and how did you get connected with the company? How did you come in the mix?
Well, PureFlix Entertainment, the studio side of the business, started in 2005. 3 different fellows came together, decided they wanted to use their talents to do something for their faith, and they decided it would be making movies. And so they started to produce movies that went to DVD, and those sold well. And then after a couple of years, they tried to theatrical release with a few theatrical movies, and that did well. They learned a lot of lessons along the way. And then, of course, in 2014, they had their kind of breakout movie, God's Not Dead, which came out, hit over $60 million in box office, was one of the biggest Christian films out there. Yep, absolutely cheer for it. But that then allowed the team to say, all right, we've got DVDs, we've got theatrical. If we really want to be there with people, though, we have to get onto the devices that they're carrying all the time, the phones, the tablets, the smart TVs that are in their home, etc. And there was the need for PureFlix.com, the streaming video service. And so in the summer of 2014, I had already retired out of the technology world. As you said, I'm a true geek on the technology side. I had retired out of that and was working on a bucket list of things I wanted to do when a friend called and said, hey, the folks at PureFlix are trying to do something that you've been involved in before. You could help them. Would you come over and listen? I went, I met the folks, connected with them immediately, and we set off on the process to design and build this system, which we launched in June of 2015. So we're not quite 2 years old. And we've just been blessed with tremendous growth, both in the content we've been able to bring in, and more importantly, the consumers who've stepped up to embrace us, signing up for our free trial that we offer for the first month and then converting to paying subs. That allows us to grow the business. And it's been just a tremendous 2 years, almost 2 years now.
That's so great. That's awesome. And for anyone watching right now, we're with Greg Gudorf, the CEO of PureFlix Digital. You can click on the link above to get that 1 month free trial. Check it out. You will be addicted in a good way within the first couple of things that you see on there. I mean, it's amazing. I wish that we had this even as kids growing up. I mean, I remember MacGyver on TV as a kid. But, you know, there just isn't a lot of good quality entertainment. And the good shows, they last for a season and get pulled off the air when they have better viewership than even the shows filled with sex, drugs, and everything else. Okay, so I get this question a lot when I speak. I'm constantly asked by teens, some parents that are the wannabe actors. They feel God's leading them into the industry to act in quality entertainment. I love acting, but honestly, Greg, for the 10 years I was out in LA, towards the last couple of years, I was speaking a lot more, living on planes, speaking and not doing much acting. Yep. But even the acting jobs I would be asked to go do were lines I didn't want to say, clothes I didn't want to wear. I didn't want to give my dad a heart attack if he saw some clip of me on Saturday Night Live. But for the teens out there that say, hey, Tina, how can we get involved in Christian entertainment? How do you guys pick your actors? And I'm asking this as a question for myself as well, for your upcoming projects where they can submit their headshot, their resume, and how does that all work with your upcoming projects you're shooting?
You know, it's a small world, really. And the one studio, PureFlix Entertainment, we release 4 to 5 films a year. So there's not dozens and dozens of them that we do, right? So yeah, you got to be involved in it. You've got to have the experience. You've got to have some credibility behind you. If you've got a script, it can't be just in your head. You've got to actually have it developed and printed. Preferably, there's some funding that goes with it, because a big part of what we do is financing these things. Every movie requires financing for the movie, for the promotion, for the PureFlix digital platform. All of those things have to come together. You know how tough it is to make it in that. Everyone loves the romance of being an actor and being on screen, but you know how tough it is to actually make it there. If that's your passion, go for it. Get involved, do things, speak. Maybe you join Toastmasters to start to learn how to speak. Get out there, do things, get it on video, put it on YouTube. If you've got something really solid, go ahead, reach out to us. If it's something worthwhile that can make a difference on the platform, we'll be glad to consider it accordingly. But, you know, there's no silver bullet to say, oh, just call this one guy and this woman will hook you up. It doesn't work that way. But just get involved, Greg, and chase it. Yeah.
Evan, your phone number, would that help somebody out a little bit? I just love acting. Someday I hope to get back into it because I just miss it. And there's just a lack of quality in Hollywood. I mean, if people are in Hollywood trying to do it, it's just really hard to break in the business. And when you break into it, you don't want to sell your soul in the process,
right,
and do something you don't want to do. Okay, so that was excellent. I love it. You gave me some great pointers right there. Okay, I noticed you had the largest selection of quality movies, educational programs, shorts. I mean, there's TV series that are on there, sermons. I love it. And ministry messages, including even Max Lucado. My mom's in love with him. Billy Graham. They're all available on PureFlix. Even kids shows. In fact, my 4 kids fell in love with you. Have a couple cooking shows that are on there. I mean, cool. That's awesome. Cool. You can't find that anywhere else. So they're hooked. Thanks a lot for that one. I got to strip the iPad now out of their hands every couple of minutes. And then, of course, we love The Encounter and a couple other shows that we've watched on there. There was a movie over the last 2 nights ago that we watched is Date Night, because why go spend $20 on a movie that's going to leave our minds and hearts in a bad place in the theater? So love it, love it. Okay, so Why should every parent in America, Greg, have PureFlix in their home? What positive stories could you share regarding the benefits from the people that are currently using PureFlix?
Well, Tina Marie, when I first got involved with PureFlix, it was to solve the challenge, the technical challenge of building the on-demand video system. I love solving problems and challenges like that. That's what hooked me initially on the PureFlix side. But after we launched and we started to hear and see the stories from the users, it touches the heart and it changes the reason for being involved in it. Recently, we had customer D. Smith tell us, hey, look, all I can do is tell you that I'm so thankful for PureFlix. It's the only form of entertainment in my home now because I've seen a change in my 11-year-old son. That's rather amazing from watching PureFlix entertainment at pureflix.com. My son's always been spiritual, but only spiritual entertainment has improved his walk with God. Everything he sees is clean. Thank you, David, and the whole PureFlix team, referencing, of course, David White, one of our founders, David A.R. White, one of the founders of PureFlix. Oh. When you hear messages like that, you hear how it's changing people's family lives, how it's giving them something they can sit down on a couch with their kids. They were too embarrassed to perhaps before because of the entertainment that was being exposed. Those are the kinds of things that make a difference. And that's one of the greatest reasons for having it in the house. You can make a difference on your kids with this. And we always think of our kids first, but truth be known, we make a difference on ourselves because we're susceptible to the same things children are. Everything comes into our mind, leaves an impression, as you said earlier. We need to make sure that we manage what comes in appropriately. And in today's world of snippy feeds and mass media and all of the political noise we have out there, where it seems like it's so easy to toss into a fight and draw off and square off into corners, we really need to guard against that and make sure we're bringing in the good and the positive so that we can reflect that back into life.
I couldn't agree more. I had actually got chills when you read off the quote because I just know with so many teens, when I go to high schools and speak to them, and not every teen is living in a rough situation. Now, some are being abused verbally, physically. Some don't have both parents in the home. But so many people, after I dissect today's entertainment from the negative and then the positive choices, run up to me afterwards and literally say, I did not realize that by listening to all of these different musicians and like Ariana Grande, and we've got Beyonce and Eminem for the last decade, and yet those celebrities shelter their own kids from their own entertainment, and then giving them positives. So many told me, I started listening to so-and-so, I felt suicidal, depressed. I started listening to so-and-so, my grades started going down the tubes. I watched these TV programs like The Walking Dead. There are so many out there that are death and destruction, and it literally feeds the soul in a negative light. And by watching PureFlix, I physically felt better, and I'm still grinding on and thinking about the messages from the encounter from episodes I watched a week ago, 2 weeks ago. God totally challenged me. In fact, the one last night, Luke looks over at me after we get done watching the one regarding the wife and the husband and thinking about divorcing deal. Not that we have, but I mean just the hardship of that and her being frustrated, and then God revealed in her the pride. Luke said, hey, that was a pretty good show, wasn't it? I'm like, I'll be thinking about that for a while. That's real. It's really good to think about that. It's life situations.
That's right.
And if there's consequences, they are revealed in PureFlix Entertainment. In Hollywood's media today, parents, consequences are not revealed. They show doing drugs and no consequences, and yet our kids are paying the price. PureFlix shows you that, and I absolutely love that. It's real God-honoring solutions to the problems that a lot of people are facing today.
Not a lot of people recognize that there was a time when the churches were heavily involved in Hollywood. From the late 20s until the mid-60s, the churches, Catholic Church, Baptist Church, were actually involved in Hollywood in a pretty strong way. And in fact, most of the movies during that period of time, you could go to whether you were 5 years old or 95 years old. It was good, wholesome entertainment. The churches started to pull back in the 60s, and that's when the turn of the tide occurred in Hollywood. And the language, the vulgarity, the sex, violence, all ratcheted up. But there's good news here. The good news is that people are still people and we want the good things. Today's technology, the digital media technology, with all of the things we have available to us, is allowing this content to come back into vogue and give people a way to access it instead of waiting for a major studio to come up with a release. Try as they might, there's now places like PureFlix Entertainment who can create content, and there's people who can just get on and tell their story and what it means to them to live as a Christian and how they view the good word, the good news that needs to be shared in the world. They can now get that out digitally. So there's a lot of hope, even though we bemoan the way Hollywood is turned. And you know, one thing about Hollywood, it pursues the dollar. So when they understand that there's a business in the good news, Hollywood will move that way too. I'm hopeful about where the digital media world's going to go.
Amen. Literally, I said that 2 weeks ago. I'm hoping that Hollywood does grasp onto the fact, and that's what I was just going to tell you. The thing that I love is when I see a Christian film, even though it bugs me, it's only like in the theaters for what, 2 weeks, and then they pull it out and they have the gangbanger shoot 'em up movie in there for 4 months. And yet we blast the Christian positive movies, blast past the negative vulgar flicks by a landslide, and how much money is made in those weekends. And we just got to keep praying that Hollywood sees, if they're after the dollar, which I believe is the same thing, that they'll actually say, hey, wait a second. What does our country want? What do consumers want? They want positive. And so I love seeing and posting, check this out. God's Not Dead totally blasted past every other film that's out there in the theaters. And yet there was advertised the least because of the lack of places that would advertise the positive Christian films and the cost associated with that. And yet God showed up in major ways. And I think it's awesome. So you got to keep up the great work here. What steps, Greg, can we take in our homes today to protect our kids when it comes to what we allow them to watch in the theaters, on TV, and tech devices? And that's with PureFlix, but are there any other tips, or would you say that's the top one to do to replace what they're currently watching?
Yeah, I think the single biggest thing is a matter of awareness. Get yourself aware to the fact that media makes such a big difference, and stop and do a little bit of research around how much time media is really coming into your kids' minds. You'll be shocked. I was, first time I started to dig into those, and I'm in the industry, so I kind of knew it, but I was shocked nonetheless when you sit there and think about, wait a minute, this media, this outside media coming in is going to have 61 times more time with my kids while they're kids than me, than my wife and I. That's just not right. So you got to first become aware. I think that's the critical thing. And then once you become aware, you'll find yourself looking for ways to bring the good and the clean in. Pureflix.com can serve part of that role. That's great. There's lots of other things as well that you need to do and think about in that regard. The first thing, though, is awareness.
Okay, I love it. And I just want to challenge the people watching, just try it for a week. I challenge the teens when they come in and hear a school assembly, just for a week, ditch any kind of negative entertainment that's possibly causing your depression or suicide and suicidal thoughts. And even if something else is going on in your life, at least the positive entertainment coming into your mind, try it just for a week, will help you come up with solutions to the problems you might be facing, instead of the entertainment, or I shouldn't even call it entertainment because to me it's not entertaining, but the other media making the problem worse or not giving any solutions. Yep. So just try it for a week. Try to ditch it for a week. And I'm telling you, you will have clarity from God. You will have direction on what to do in your life. You'll feel better about yourself. Your self-esteem will skyrocket. You will be helping your family out with situations, your friends that might be facing certain things. God's not going to pump your head full of quality entertainment that's God honoring and then not give you a vision, purpose, and steps to take in your life that will help you get out of your situation or help elevate the great situation you might be in right now as far as vision for what your purpose is here on the earth. Positive in, positive out, and God's going to honor you for that. I really believe it. Packages and cost. I know that moms watching this are like, okay, give me the goods, Greg. Where can they go to it? How simple is it to get your quality entertainment? Okay, good.
It's super simple. Just open up a browser and point yourself to pureflix.com. You can sign up for an account. As we said, the first month's free. After that, it's $7.99 a month. There is a price increase coming, so I'll give you a little clue. Get in before May 1st, because on May 1st, the prices are going up. If you start your trial between now and May 1st, you'll be locked in for the rest of the year at the low price. So
I will
it's
make
that
sure I
simple,
blast
Tina.
that. Okay, I will blast that on social media. So the link is above for all of you that might be watching right now. Click on the link above to get your free month trial. I made it super simple. Sign up, open another browser window, and get watching away with your kids. And the fun thing is you have so many selections for kids to watch and get on. They can actually pick it out with you. And what's cool about this, we have a couple questions. We have questions. Yay. The cool thing about this too is that the kids, Greg, as they're 5, 6, 7, even a teenager, it's never too late, moms, by the way, to get your kids into quality entertainment. It is never too late. The last 10 years might have been really bad situation with your kids. And I'm telling you, entertainment is a huge factor. So be diligent. Don't give up no matter how old your kids might be right now. And have your kids make the choices of what entertainment to watch on PureFlix, because then you're going to instill in them on how to make wise decisions in their own entertainment choices. So once they're out of the house, they already have ingrained in their mind, I want positive in because it's going to make me feel better and I'm honoring God in the process. And I just think that's awesome. So
Well, and
here's some
your comments on target more than you know, because it's not just the kids. We're young kids at heart.
Sure.
So no matter how
Yeah.
old we are, we can benefit from the positive as well.
Greg, that brings back a thing. When I was flicking through all your thousands of flicks, that took me a couple hours. Um, don't you have Lassie listed as a selection?
Yeah, there are a few episodes of Lassie on there. There's some old Dick Van Dyke. There's some old Western shows. Yeah, we've got some of the old classic TV as well. So we've got something for everybody on the platform, without a doubt.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. Okay, here are some questions. Thank you, Greg. Awesome. Mona, thanks for chiming in. Where does Greg get the films? So do you produce all of them, or do you get them from other locations?
So PureFlix as a company has been involved in about 100 films to date. We've got over 6,000 pieces of content on the platform. We license our films and titles in. And the licensing of content is a business unto itself. It's complicated with different rights windows and costs and all kinds of things. But we have a small team of people at pureflix.com that are out there looking for films and TV shows that we can license in. If we can find our way to see that it's the right type of content for our audience and we can work out the right logistics price-wise, it's on the platform.
Awesome. And it's not as though you guys, there's two key questions here at the end. It's not as though you use the funds to keep doing what you're doing, but you go beyond that. I understand that you have a new alliance with Convoy of Hope as part of your cause marketing strategy. Can you explain that and why you guys do that?
I'm so glad you've asked me about it. This is something that I'm very excited about. I mean, you think pureflix.com, that's an exciting thing, and it is. But remember, our vision is to influence culture for Christ through media. What if becoming a part of pureflix.com, becoming a subscriber, just signing up for a trial, what if that allows you to be part of something much bigger? That's what we're going to kick off here in May with Convoy of Hope. Pureflix.com and Convoy of Hope are partnered. In the month of May alone, we're going to together deliver over $100,000 worth of goods and services to Americans in need right here in America. And all because you all are members of pureflix.com. Imagine what we can do if you think about this long term, month over month, as the business grows. Wouldn't it be great to say, hey, we built X number of houses this month. We fed X number of people. We helped this many people on a medical basis. It's truly a business first, obviously, but because it's a Christian business at heart, we have this larger charter to get out there and do good in the world. And that's what our Convoy of Hope partnership is going to do. Beginning in May, for everybody who joins in, they'll be part of pureflix.com and Convoy of Hope, delivering over $100,000 worth of goods and services to Americans in need right here in this country. How great is that?
I absolutely love you guys. I wish I was there right now to give you a high five. I know you're like 8 states away, but I love it.
I'm excited about it.
Greg, I am just praying everyone watching this show today and after the fact realizes that we have to honor God in every facet of our lives. And by honoring God with what we watch in entertainment, we should have shut Hollywood down decades ago by not watching what they're producing. But now that we have a killer positive option, it would be a no-brainer in my book to not only to only watch the positive entertainment and ditch anything negative. Why support any kind of production company, any kind of Hollywood focused entertainment that blasts Christians, that makes fun of Christians, that glamorize threesomes? I mean, I have to go through the whole thing, but this is a no-brainer in my book. There is a positive option for parents today, and this is it.
Tina Marie,
Last but not
Hollywood's going to do what it's going to do. So we just kind of have to let that go, focus on what we can do. And every time you watch pureflix.com in May, remember that you're part of this $100,000 worth of goods and services being delivered via Convoy of Hope to Americans in need.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love that. Okay, so with that comes this question. If people want to get involved with you in that regards, can they volunteer personally, and can we donate to your business? Let's say you want to give more than $8 a month, $7.99 right now per month for signing up for the service. Can we give to you guys financially above and beyond that?
There's a couple of things that can happen there. Number one, if you want to donate, really donate, there's always films and marketing and the platform itself that need funding, and we'll be glad to put you in touch with the people on our side who handle investor relations. You know, a lot of folks don't know it. You think about businesses being funded by a public market or by big banks or venture capitalists. We're funded by accredited individuals. This means individuals and individual families who have a Christian heart and want to do good. So they help drive the movies and the platform itself. So that's one level. At another level, a smaller level, buy gift cards to pureflix.com. Think of your 6 favorite people and go buy a 6-month gift card on the platform. Buy it before May 1st. It'll be at the lower price, and just simply give it to them. It'll be emailed to them. They'll get 6 months at pureflix.com because of what you want to do. And of course, when we launch with Convoy of Hope in May, there'll be lots of information on our site and in our blogs to help connect you to Convoy of Hope so you can get involved directly should you feel the desire to move that way with it as well.
Perfect. And I do get your updates once a week. They come through in my inbox, a really top-notch newsletter, everybody watching, that gives you a lot of tips and tools for the positive entertainment they currently have coming out, what's in the works. It's just a great newsletter. It's a quick read, too, for busy moms. I just love it. So I have one last question coming from someone that saw my social media blast over the week about you coming on as a guest. Okay. She wrote a screenplay, and she wanted to know what is the best way she can get that to you, it's done, it's finished, and she loves it. And wants to see what's your.
Don't send it to us directly, number one. Instead, drop a note to support@pureflix.com.
Okay.
Support@pureflix.com. Tell us that's what you're looking for, that you've got a screenplay ready to go and you want to have it reviewed if possible. We will then send you a website link where you can then submit through a normal process, a formal process, I should say. But support@pureflix.com. Awesome. Let us know what you want to do and we'll connect you accordingly.
Perfect. Cecilia, that one was for you, girl. Good job on writing that script. Are there any other things you want to tell our viewers today about your company, about anything that might be on your heart or mind? Or I think we covered a pretty good chunk here today.
I think we did. I think the reality is life is short. God is good. We have to use that short amount of time we have to be out there and do the good we can. Feed yourself the positive, the clean, the inspirational, whether you find it at pureflix.com or in other places, and then reflect that back out into your community in whatever way you can. Even if it's just being a pureflix.com member, we've got you covered with our Convoy of Hope connection. Those kinds of things, you can consciously seek out ways to participate in those kind of manners. It makes a big difference.
It does. I have one of the people viewing right now says, let's pray together for more faith-based media and films as the center of our families and throughout the nation. And I couldn't agree more. I just want to remind everyone watching this as well that, Christ tells us in Proverbs that we should train up our children in the way that they should go. And so when they get older, they won't depart from it. And training them up, like you said, Greg, today's training them, a majority is entertainment. I love what you do. I love your mission. I love you. And I'm very, very glad that I saw you guys doing your Pure Talk show there at National Broadcast, the conference there in Orlando, because this was a God thing. Can you briefly talk about Pure Talk as well? I forgot to cover that today.
Yeah, our connection in Orlando, and I think you and I spoke about this when we were there, that was one of those God appointments, as a friend of mine would say. There wasn't a coincidence that we connected in that way and at that point in time. Pure Talk is a talk show that we're trying to develop, trying to see what the interest might be, see how people react to it. The basic idea here is it's so difficult to have a conversation in social media on so many different topics today with this kind of squaring off, and them are fighting words rather than cooperative words. And we're trying to develop within Pure Talk a way for people to come together and just have a conversation of what's on their heart, what it means to be a Christian in today's world, what are the challenges, what are the pluses and minuses, if you will, how do you deal with it? We're looking to bring that kind of conversation alive on Pure Talk. While we were in Florida at the trade show there, we did 5 episodes. They're online now. They're up in our social media. They're on pureflix.com. Next weekend, we're going to be doing another series of them. We'll see how it plays out. They'll probably come up online in mid-May. It takes a little bit, as you know, to get these things ready and get them out there. But we're really just kind of testing the waters and seeing how can we bring this conversations like you and I are having right now, to life on a bigger reach, a bigger audience, so that we can get many more people involved in it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Greg, for tuning in. Guys, this is Hollywood Insider with Tina Marie. And I just want to remind you, above are all the links. You have the free trial. You've got PureFlix Entertainment to check out everything that they've got up there as well, all the links. Share this video once again to everyone you know, because I know millions of families in our country want positive options. They just don't know where to go, where to turn, how to solve their problems in their home. And this is a way to solve the problem, hands down. Check out the helpful links, like I said, above as well. It'll give you more information on the topics we talked about today. Share this video on any social media platforms you want. And make sure that if you have any questions, you email myself. I can forward them on to Greg. Whatever question you've got, we can help you answer it. And you also can sign up for our weekly newsletter by simply going to the link above, or you can text the word warriors to 444-999, and you can share this video with your friends and have them jump on board to Hollywood Insider every single week. Let's raise counterculture kids together here in America. It's time we turn the tide, get them back on track. Until next time, this is Tina Marie signing off with Hollywood Insider. Have a great week. Go out there and make a difference. Bye.
Amen.